On this video, we are going to talk about avatars and the true self. When we incarnate, we take a personality, we integrate the personality of who we are and what we are here to do. And that personality is an avatar. We are all spirits. We are all in spirit actually, our higher selves are in spirit. And on this planet, for this lifetime purposes only, as we say in movies, for these movies purposes, we are encompassing an avatar. We are taking upon an avatar, an image of us that is created with different parameters in order to walk through this life, through this environment, and fulfill what we are here to fulfill, and do what we are here to do, and enjoy life, and so on and so forth. Now, each one of us changes and transforms at each and every second. Some changes of these we are undertaking are happening in a way that we are not exactly aware of, and others that are bigger, we are quite aware of these changes. So if you think that each and every moment we are a bit different, we are transforming and changing into something new, imagine now what happens when you hold the idea of someone that you used to know, that you used to interact as they were back then. It's like you're projecting outside of you a specific avatar of that person. And you are expecting that person to do exactly the same as they used to do, to behave in exactly the same way as they used to do, and they keep changing and they keep evolving. Most of them, not all of them, okay? There are people that you can't see no changes in them even after years, and you go like, really? You're the same? How is that possible? But most of us, because we are on this path of awakening, we are on this path of self-exploration, introspection, and every shift is taking place with every thought, with every emotion that you feel, with every process you do inwardly. This is how we change and shift, and you expect someone to be exactly the same, and they are not. So you're projecting a specific image outside of you to someone else and expecting them to react in the same way. For me, in my path, that was quite difficult when someone was expecting to see me for who they knew I was, like friends that I have for over 10 years and 20 years of my life. And we were in and out from that relationship and connection because we don't live in the same city, because we don't have a constant connection. And they would feel like it would feel like they were expecting me to behave as they knew me. And I was something is off energetically here. What is going on? Until I realized they were expecting specific stuff as they knew me in the past, and that was quite difficult for me to understand at first. And how on earth do I do that? Do I navigate this? Because it is a very strong energy when someone is projecting something very specific and they know you for years and years of your life, and you have changed through these years. It becomes quite difficult for you to get into the space. I'm not who you think I am or who you remember I am. I'm someone else. It is kind of difficult to navigate that. So I was searching online to find, okay, if someone is interacting with another version of me, how do I handle that? How do I experience it? How do I feel it? I pretty much knew how I was experiencing it, but it was still difficult for me to navigate that, to try and not be in that space that they knew me, because there was some familiarity from that energy. This is how we connected initially, and this is how we were for years. And then I had shifted to something else, and I was searching for different versions of you, of me, and what is going on and how we navigate that. Until I came upon a video on YouTube that they were sharing. I don't even remember from whom, when it was, but I got a very clear idea of this: that every single person interacts with a version of you that they are aware of, or they have been accustomed to, or what they perceive through their own lenses. which is more interesting. So each one of us perceives each other in a specific way through our own lenses and through our own experiences. And this is how we understand each other, through that specific lens we wear. And it is kind of filtered in many ways because of our experiences, because of everything. Now, I was talking with my guides and how on earth do we navigate that? And that was a moment of clarity, like you don't. You don't navigate that. You are you. The person that is being created now in the moment, the persona, the avatar that you are at this present moment, either the other person perceives it or not. And they will understand it or not. And it's not up to you. It's not under your control to actually do something about it. Each one of us interacts with each other through their own perception. And that is nice now that my voice is closing. So we get to perceive each other through our own perceptions. Now, what is the best way to keep ourselves accountable, how to perceive others? By being curious for who the other person is at this point of time and having no specific expectations, which was interesting to see in reality. When I was testing that as a theory and how it is actually applied in everyday life, even with my family members and the members of my family, or with my friends and people I work with, and blah, blah, blah in sessions, I was understanding one thing. So I was applying it in sessions, but I wasn't observing, I was already doing it. The point is, get into a space to be curious. Who is the person you have now in front of you? What are they talking about? How do they feel? When you are curious to understand the person in front of you from a new perspective, with clear lenses, as clear as possible, this is how you get to connect with others. And it's more difficult when you get to be in the same space with the same person your whole life. This is where it is difficult to be open enough to allow them without projecting something specific to them and allow them to be themselves and true to themselves at that specific point of moment of time, which is interesting. And I tried that with the very close people of my family years ago when I was shifting, when they were shifting, what is changing, and there's something off. Am I projecting something on them? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? So I'm always very inquisitive in my mind. I'm always asking a lot of questions to understand how the energy works, how the projections of what we believe of some specific people in our lives are. So in that space, I was exploring what if I dissolve all the projections I have and what I expect from this person or how they will react in a specific situation that keeps repeating. And I was exploring how it actually comes to be in reality. When you're not projecting something specific, when you're not expecting something specific of them, when you're clearly open enough to see who they are at this present moment, you are so, you can be so surprised. In other words, you can be so surprised because you see a different version of them being present in the moment, and you are exploring a different reality through different versions of yourself and them as well. So, this is the space we can keep for ourselves and others. This is the space of self exploration, but also how to be present in the moment. We talk about mindfulness, and we think that it is about our thoughts, controlling our thoughts, or controlling our emotions. It has nothing to do about that. Mindfulness is being present, being aware, being open enough to explore someone for who they are in this present moment, leaving them the opportunity to be someone else from what you expect. Accept? What accept? Anyways, so in that space, you are exploring yourself, you are exploring the other person, you are allowing them to be true to themselves, and you are true to yourself without holding a specific projection onto them, a specific idea of who they are and how they are expected to react, to be, to talk, or act even without any reaction. And in that space, you keep learning who they are and you keep learning yourself through them, the interaction. Now I want to pass this subject on to twin flames and how this is applied on twin flames, because this is a download I had a couple of nights ago and that's very interesting. And of course, a download from my higher self and a conversation following that download with my guides, my spirit guides. And we get into a space of being with our twin flame, even in separation. And we keep the image, the idea that we have of them before. When we were interacting with them, when we were closer, when we were in the same space with them. So we have that specific image, that specific avatar of them, of how they behave, of how they are. And we are holding on to that idea because this is what we remember of them, and we are not open enough to explore who they are at this present moment, for who they are at this present moment and current moment. And we are attached to an image, an avatar that doesn't even exist anymore. So, what is going on with these avatars? If I have a specific idea of someone, a specific image of someone, of how they behave, how they think, how they act, how they react, I'm getting clingy, attached to that specific idea. In that space, which is a projection of mine, okay, even if it was true as an avatar at some point of time, it isn't anymore. So in that space where I am attached to that specific avatar, I keep interacting energetically with that specific avatar. And through that avatar, what I'm called to be doing is a lot of shadow work, working on my triggers, working on the shadows that are hidden and why I'm attached to that avatar, why I'm projecting that onto them, why I am in a space of holding on to that specific idea of that person, and I don't actually get to be in alignment with myself in the present moment with the idea of the person that exists in reality, in real time. And reality is kind of relative, but what I'm saying with this is that we keep doing that to our twin flames, either divine masculine or divine feminine. It doesn't matter. It's not about what kind of energy we represent in this incarnation. It is about the avatar, the idea of who someone is, that we are not open enough to explore who they are in the present moment. So if you are coming across something like that in your perception, in your awareness, that you are interacting energetically with a previous version of someone, of your twin flame, or someone else in general, get to actually do the work of what that means for you. You might still have some residual energies, like an emotion, some kind of anger, some kind of frustration, sadness that is still interacting from within you with that version of them. So when you get to be in a space of, okay, I'm gonna get down, do the work, sit down, do the work. Why am I still holding on to that avatar, to that version of them? Either it is still true or not, it doesn't matter. Why am I still projecting something specific outside of me to someone else? When that is happening, there is something specific as an emotion that is still connected with that previous version of them, with that specific avatar. When you get to that space of reflecting and asking these questions, what kind of emotion is still connected to that avatar, to that version of them? Either it is agitation, anger, or ignorance. I have to ignore you because I have to keep myself safe or away from you, or attachment in a way, I want you, I need you in my life. I need you to be in my life. I can't be something better if I don't have you in my life. This is a usual feeling that twin flames have. Like, if I don't have my twin flame, then who am I? That is complete. I'm not gonna say the word, but that is created by fear. You are an individual soul and spirit at the same time, and you are here to evolve. Either you are in union or not. You are evolving. You can get to the next stages of ascension. Either you get to be in union with your twin flame or not. That doesn't affect you. Your twin flame as an energy exists, either in the physical realm or in the higher self realm, the spirit realm, it exists either way. So, what growth you can pay with or without your twin flame, you will pay it either way. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not about being in union. Either way, the growth that you pay for yourself, you paid before the union. You don't come into union if you haven't done the work, if you haven't found the sovereignty and your individuality, your monad. You are a monad. If you haven't connected with that at its fullest, there's no union either way. So this is why we are doing the work. The union is the byproduct. If it is meant to be, it will be, it can't surpass you. So the focus is again back on you and why you are connecting with these avatars, other versions, or what you think and assume for someone. This is an avatar. Like, not exactly like a mask, but something like that. The avatar has to do with the totality of one being, who they are, what they represent, uh, characteristics of their personality and everything. So if you are in conflict with one of these characteristics of this avatar, you have to check in with yourself. Why the attachment? Why that connection to that feeling? Why is this feeling keep producing itself in my system? So I have to go in and ask myself why, how it started, where, with what is it connected, and why. Does it play a role? Of course it does. It plays a role and it has a purpose. So I have to figure out that purpose. When we do these questions, ask these questions and we receive the answers instead of trying to fit in an answer with a logical mind, we get to expand our awareness and understand a bit more ourselves. And this is the point. This is the point of any incarnation, to understand a bit more of ourselves, and this is how the universe experiences itself. By the awareness, we actually grow and outgrow each and every time. I hope this makes sense. And the title of this video is True Self, Avatar and True Self. So, what is what? What is the avatar? What is the true self? What we are doing with its incarnation, with each step of our lives and step of our paths of awakening and enlightenment, is taking on an avatar, a persona, if you wish. That persona, that avatar, gets to have specific characteristics, specific way of thinking, mindset, feelings, how we interact with these feelings through the mindset we have and possess. So every time we are expanding our awareness and our consciousness, and we are coming more in alignment with who we are in essence, we are sending off layers and layers, and we get to a space of integrating a new avatar, having a new avatar. So the old avatar falls apart, the new avatar is being created, and it's not just ego. I'm not talking about ego. So no, please no, don't have any confusion around these two. And it's not just the ego that falls apart with every spiritual awakening we are going through. It's a lot more. It's a deeper process than just the ego. We usually talk in spiritual communities. So in that space, a new avatar is being created. When we outgrow that, another avatar is being created. So as we change, and keep evolving and keep setting off layers of who we are not and who we are in essence. This is how we start being connecting with our true self. By the change of avatars and more avatars and more avatars, we keep connecting more and deeper and more honestly, more authentically with our true self. And true self is not just one random terminology about that. It is about the soul and the spirit, how they are one already in union, and we keep setting off the layers by understanding English, who we were created by the source to be, with that unique essence we have as beings. Not through the incarnations, not through other life forms we have taken, but just us in essence, that divine essence that is within us. And the more we change and the more we transform, the deeper the connection that we establish within us. And everything else, of course, around us is changing and transforming because of that connection we establish within us. So, your intention, in my understanding, after these downloads and everything else, I've been going through my own experiences as being part of this awakening path, has to do with connecting with your true self. And this is why my mantra, be true to yourself and be your true self, because they are two different things. Be true to yourself and be your true self. And when you have that as an anchor within you at each and every moment of your existence, you will be shifting versions and avatars of yourself in a very balanced way, in a very in aligned way with who you are in essence. And you are unbecoming everything you thought you were in order to become who you always were created to be. And this is how it is best for us to see others, being mindful, being present in the moment, and seeing others for who they are. If you find yourself having scenarios of previous situations in your mind playing out, a previous conversation, a previous argument, someone said something to you, or whatever that might be, entertain why. Why is this coming up? Why is this showing up? Because in that space, you understand that there is a residual feeling connected to that situation or even that person. And when you draw it back to you, you will be able to reflect why this is showing up. Why am I still attached to that? There's something there within me, not unhealed, something for me to understand, something for me to expand my awareness to. Because most of the situations we think, oh, I haven't healed that, I haven't healed that, not that either. And we are, what the fuck? Do I have to heal all of these things? No. Your awareness needs to be expanded in order for you to understand why this conversation bothered you. Through the whys, you will figure out of what you were perceiving, but you weren't aware of that. Most of the times we perceive something, we are not aware of that exactly that moment, and we still hold on to that emotional reaction we had. So take that anchor, the emotional reaction of that situation, of your twin flame, all the things that your twin flame does or doesn't do, and it actually triggers you, and get into that space to understand why it triggers you. The trigger can be either positive, negative, neutral, it doesn't matter. If it is a trigger, it is a trigger that leads you somewhere. It is a trigger that creates something in you. And what we want is the awareness of what is created and why the reaction, so you can understand yourself and expand your awareness. It's not about stop being agitated or angry or frustrated or sad and being constantly happy and joyous. It's not about that. On the contrary, it is about you understanding why this emotion was triggered and why did you react it? Did you react in that way? Why is it still in your energy? It's not exactly a problem. On the contrary, you will figure out a lot of situations that you were perceiving something that you weren't aware of. So when you have this back and forth of questions, receiving answers, blah, 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 and why does this agitate me? Why does this trigger an emotion in me? Why does it make me feel like that? You will understand a lot more about yourself and the other person. And if you apply that in your twin flame connection, You will be shifting a lot of layers in a very easy way, in a very fast way, and it will be a huge integration of more of you. Does this resonate? Does this make sense? Please let me know in the comments how this makes you feel about avatars, if it is something that you would like me to explore even more and explain even more. I love triggers like that with questions because it gets me into a space to channel, and through the channeling a lot more are coming up, and that is always beautiful to experience. And let me know if this is something you have applied yourself. If you are in a space of allowing someone to be their true selves at this specific moment that you're interacting with them. Because it's very interesting when you apply it in your daily life with the people you interact the most. You can be so surprised, magically surprised, that you may not be even aware that exists as part of our reality and how to be with each other. I will see you in the next video. I hope this resonated. And let me know in the comments how this goes for you, how it feels like through your own experiences. Try it out and come back to let me know, please. Much love. And as always, be true to yourself and be your true self. And this is my biggest blessing for all of us to be in that space each and every moment.